Hello, my name is Jeremy with Faithful Guardian Training Center, and today we're going to be talking about neurology. To start off with, we're going to be talking about the contents of the cranial cavity. And that's going to be your brain tissue, which is actually where our neurons are that are firing that allow us to speak, listen, understand, remember, all those other functions of the brain. Then we also have the blood that is circulating inside the blood vessels that help cause perfusion to happen in the brain. Next, we have CSF, or cerebral spinal fluid, and it helps act as a cushion for the brain. It helps with regulation of the brain functions, such as making sure that we get rid of the toxins that build up. And so with all three of these things, they all make up 100% of the contents of the cranial cavity. And so what this means is that there's approximately 80% of your total volume in your cranial cavity is going to be taken up by your brain tissue. You have another 10% that is going to be taken up by circulating blood volume, and then you have another 10% that's going to be taken up by your cerebral spinal fluid. So it's called the 80-10-10, and that lets you know what you have inside of your skull. Any disruption of this, so for example, if you have a brain bleed, or you have somebody that has a concussion that causes their brain tissue to swell, or you have somebody that has a disease process that causes excess cerebral spinal fluid to be manufactured, it's going to cause a disruption to that. And this is going to end up actually leading to increased intracranial pressure, which we will talk about in a later video. From outside to in of your skull, so on the outermost layer we have our skin. Directly underneath our skin we have our skull. And our skull is very rigid. It doesn't allow for a whole lot of movement. And again, so that's going to help go into affecting the increased intracranial pressure. Next, we have our meninges. Our meninges is a protective layer of tissue that is formed over our brain throughout our spinal column. It's there to help protect our nerves and protect our brain. The outermost layer is going to be the duramater. It's very durable, it's rigid. In the centermost layer, you're going to have the arachnoid mater. It gets its name due to the fact that it's very spiderwebbish like, and it just looks like that through the movement of the vessels and everything. Next up, you have your pia mater. That is the innermost layer. So again, from outside to inside, duramater, arachnoid, pia mater. The way that I was able to remember this is I remember DAP. And that will give you your outside to your inside of your meninges. Underneath your pia mater and underneath your meninges, you actually have your brain tissue and your cranial cavity. And again, in the brain tissue, it's going to be circulated. You're going to be circulating blood volume through the vessels, and you're also going to have your cerebral spinal fluid, which kind of helps coat everything, acts as a cushion. And all of this is the contents of the brain. Anytime you have a disruption, it leads to a disease process that we need to be able to identify for the most part, or at least know that something's wrong, and at the end of the day get them to the hospital where they need to go.